Hey guys, welcome back to Deepak's Daily Reading. I finished recently reading the Elon Musk Method, Business Principles from the World's Most Powerful Entrepreneur by Randy Kirk. And I'll talk about the most recent chapters that I read that were really poignant for me. So interestingly, just first of all, for those of you who haven't listened to the previous voice notes, this is a book that I think was published in 2019. Randy Kirk is, I presume, like me, a Elon Musk fanboy, but much more heavily so. And he's put together a series of business lessons based upon the publicly accessible information about Elon Musk. Interestingly, one of the sources that he uses quite heavily is the book by Ashley Vance, which was published in 2016, which is the up till now the most comprehensive biography of Elon Musk, which includes detailed interviews with Musk as well as hundreds of the people around him. So Randy Kirk hasn't had any direct engagement with Musk, but it's drawing upon the publicly accessible data. And he does signpost and reference that book several times. So I'd recommend reading that in general if you haven't yet. So there's 16 lessons that he covers. And I'll just talk about, because I can't recall, unfortunately, from memory, the first 13. What's interesting, by the way, is that I'm really seeing my general comprehension, recall, short-term and long-term memory improve, just as a consequence of this book notes process, if you will, as well as just reading, of course, much more heavily, or rather listening on a daily basis. So for those of you who haven't yet started there or are not yet accelerating their reading journey, as well as just my ability to speak and articulate my thoughts without using, it's something that Axel and I spoke about, the problem of and cutting that all out from my vernacular entirely. So anyway, going back to the book, there's three things that he speaks of that for me were really powerful. So the first one is incremental improvements. So this is the power of continuously improving every single aspect of ultimately your life, of course, broadly, but also your business skills and areas of the business that you run. That's, of course, how it strikes home for me. So examples of areas where I am doing that: I am seeking to improve the general caliber of the SEO team, because we've brought in Dino and Reno, which is fantastic for the business in general. We are improving the systems around outreach for the getting more footfall into How Matcha via sending out localized email campaigns. We're trying to find someone to do flyering. We are improving our optimizations. I think that's a different way of saying the same thing. We're improving our SEO on Deliveroo, and we're looking at other areas and means in which we can improve. So looking at a continual 1% in everything that you do, or at least areas of focus, is something that can lead to massive gains over time, reduce costs, increase productivity, increase sales. And of course, it refers to the self in terms of what can you do to improve yourself on a daily basis. So I really, really enjoyed that chapter. And of course, it has applications for everything that we do. And it's what I'm trying to do with this listening that I'm doing. One such thing that I did this morning was, and it was quite interesting actually, and I know that we all know this, but do we do it? Probably not. I have historically been walking around while I'm reading, or rather listening, as well as sitting in a noisy cafe. So today I tried closing my eyes, and of course my listening became more acute and it improved immediately, but I'm just not used to closing my eyes whilst I'm listening, because sometimes I want to look around and notice someone walking past and this and that. So closing my eyes increases my level of focus, and it also is more difficult for me because you have to focus. So I just timed it, and the longest I was able to stay with my eyes closed, I just tried it twice, and listen, was 4 minutes, 50 seconds. So it's a little game I'll play now to try and up it until I could go for, ideally, because I listen to books in 20-minute sprints, 20 minutes or a chapter with my eyes closed, and then depending upon what I do, open them again. So that's something that I'm trying to work upon at the moment. But Elon Musk was able to leverage or to levy huge gains based upon continuous incremental improvements in everything that they do, There's never any stopping, which relates to the second element that I think is really powerful, and it's relentlessness. It relates to a video that I shared with Axel that I stumbled upon on YouTube Shorts yesterday from Michael Phelps, talking about his 5 to 6 year period when he trained swimming. For those of you who don't know, Michael Phelps, considered widely to be the greatest swimmer, greatest Olympian swimmer of all time. I think he's got something silly to the effect of maybe over 10 medals, maybe 8 gold medals, maybe even more. But he fundamentally said he trained every day without fail for 6 years in a row. And that's something I've never done, if I'm being honest. That level of consistency I've never achieved in my life. That doesn't mean I can't achieve it. It means that I'm headed in that direction of having my mind opened, and ultimately developing a world-class level of consistency is something that I would love to do. And Elon Musk says at its simplest level, the one manner in which you can beat your competition is to work ridiculously hard. So he said, if your competition are working 50 hours, you can work 100 hours a week. And then over a course of 1 year, they'll have worked 1 year, you'll have worked 2. And that can open up massive gains. So people talk about working smart, which is fine, but you work smart and you work really, really hard. And imagine if you are smart, Elon Musk is a genius and he works really, really hard. And the truth is comparatively speaking, I'm extremely lazy as compared to Elon Musk. So the relentlessness, especially when there's a passion attached to what you do, is something that really just made me reconsider my own work ethic. And that, in combination with what I saw from Michael Phelps, made me realize that, Deepak, you got to raise your game, son. You got to raise and rise up. So that was a big, big takeaway, that relentlessness, and ultimately that drive to work. So that was brilliant. And then the final thing that really feeds into this, which is, and by the way, as you can see, I'm beginning to lengthen the length of these notes because I'm also trying to practice my ability to string thoughts together and just get better at speaking, really. So the determination to never give up, that for me is something that I think is really telling right now. I've just realized actually that I've missed a chapter that I did read, which I'll combine with this idea of relentlessness, never ever giving up, because the business is in a state of there's challenges that I'm experiencing and going through with Pearl Lemon at the moment, with Pearl Lemon Catering, Pearl Lemon Food and Beverage, if you will. And one of the things that is spoken about by Randy Kirk in a chapter previous to the first one that I mentioned today, incremental improvements, is the sense of overcoming obstacles, embracing the suck. The things that you typically start well, and then it can suck for a few years. Now, when I say suck, I mean there's little to no progress. Sometimes you go backwards. Sometimes you might feel that you might be close to closing the company down. You might be in debt. You might be down in the dumps. You might not find the way forward. You might just be tired and a bit fed up of not seeing progress and wondering what's happening. And this is the journey that you will undergo in any discipline for an extended period of time before the good times return. And that is something that fundamentally is a norm, if you will, in the journey of building anything that's worth having. So overcoming obstacles by implementing incremental improvements, by being relentless and working long hours, and having that incredible boneheaded determination to never, ever give up, is something that I want to take with me, because the way that Pearl Lemon Catering, the way that the accounting or legal practice I'm building all become multi-million pound businesses, in some senses as simple as Deepak, improve incrementally, Deepak, overcome all obstacles, Deepak, work extremely long hours, Deepak, never, ever give up. So amazing book, massively recommend it.
Hey guys, it's Deepak Shukla here. I am huge on listening to books on Audible. So if you're interested in getting all of the insights as I discover them through the course of all the books I read, please do comment, like, and of course subscribe so that you get notified every time we release a video. Thank you so much, and I hope to hear from you soon.